Well, everybody, welcome to P.B.M. Money. Is Betty out already? For those of you that have been watching, I do an ongoing teaching series with a couple of students where I teach them the basics about money, how to get started. And about a month or two ago, we had a lady named, these names are not real, but for the sake of these videos, I call her Betty. And when she first came to a meeting with Billy, I thought I saw a lot of potential. So our first meeting, I had a game plan, and I gave her a list of things that I wanted her to do. And I waited 4 weeks for her to come back. Now, some of the things that I wanted her to do, to be fair, for somebody that she had met only one time before for an hour or two, but I wanted her to go open a checking account and a savings account at a bank she didn't know. I wanted her to get rid of the finance app that she had been using. I wanted her to take $200 per pay and put it into her savings account. I wanted her to apply for no new credit cards. I wanted her to set up so we could meet every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks. And I wanted her to go find a new part-time job. And gave her 4 weeks to do those things. Crickets. And I said, now when you open this, when you open the checking and savings account, give me a call, let me know that it's done. Crickets. So the Sunday before we were supposed to meet, which would have been a month, I called her, or texted her actually, and said, are we still on? And she said, I have to work Sunday. Okay, so in my mind, I gave her a list of a half a dozen things to do, none of which got done. I told her to make arrangements to meet every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks. That never got done. None of the things I asked her to get done got done. So I thought about it, and I thought, okay, this is not a motivated person. I don't know what I saw, but I'm done. You know, my logic is always the same. I get 1 day a week to do this because I enjoy it. So the hour or hour and a half that I spend is very, very valuable to me. If it's not important enough to you to rearrange your schedule, why should I? So I had pretty much decided I was done. And went on about another half week. She finally texted me and said, I can't get a ride. Her ride had to work that Sunday. I said, okay. And that's exactly how I left it. I said, oh, okay. No response back. And it really puzzled me. I mean, if you were enthusiastic about something and you couldn't get a ride, wouldn't you have said, can I get an Uber? Can we meet another night of the week? Can we meet a little bit later? Can you stop by and pick me up? Something. But I got nothing. So I was like, okay, so I'm getting nothing back here. I got nothing on what the things I wanted her to get done. I'm getting no feedback at all. I thought, well, before I close the door completely, because I've already asked her about a meeting, And she said, I have to work. I said, oh, okay. So I said, okay, I'm going to give her one last shot, because I could think of half a dozen ways to get there. And if she does the right thing, I'll meet her at least one more time. And I said, I'll make a deal with you. If you get there, I'll make sure that you get to work. She texted me back immediately and said, okay, I'll take an Uber. Okay, all right. You were in another meeting. So I started thinking about it, and the first girl that I was teaching, I had the same problems with her when we got started, and I remembered that. And I remember doing a video on here where I had to sit her down, and I told her, I said, and I had to end up telling this girl, Betty, I told her that this morning too, and she probably didn't appreciate it, but oh well. I said, for the next year out, your most important job in the world is to meet with me. That's your job. And she kind of looked at me and I said, let me explain something to you. I am getting nothing out of this. You're not paying me. In fact, the ministry is buying you breakfast. And all I ask is that you be serious. That's all. Just be serious. I said, because if you're not serious about your finances, why should I be? I don't care about your finances. I care about helping you as a daughter of Jesus. I don't care about your money, and I got no dog in this fight. I said, so if you want to be independent for the rest of your life, you will rearrange your schedule. I said, now, how do you do that? Well, I told you I wanted to meet every 2 weeks. So I asked her questions about her scheduling. I said, this is very simple. You put a letter in writing and say, please give me every other Sunday off. That's not brain surgery. I said, if it makes you feel better, just say for the next 2 months or 3 months. Then we'll tackle that dog when we get there. So she said she would do that. So I figured, well, okay, we have a trust issue here. She's giving me lip service like she trusts me, but she's acting like she doesn't. Which is just like the first girl did. So I addressed that with her. And then I asked her point blank, I said, do you have ADHD? And she said, well, I've never been diagnosed. Remember, she dropped out of school at 15. She said, I've never been diagnosed, but my dad has it and my sister has it. I said, oh, okay. So then I was right. I gave her too much to do in a short amount of time. And I didn't put it in writing. Okay. And then I said, did you and I have a discussion about the word groundwork? She said, no. I said, okay, this explains a lot, and part of it was my fault. So, today, we had to talk about groundwork. And that's a big talk, especially for somebody who just takes their finances however they go. So that was a big one. And then in my mind, I made some recommendations to her. And so the first thing I did is I pulled out a piece of paper and a pen and I started making a list. And the list was things I wanted her to get done in the next 2 weeks. And I cut that list I originally gave you, I cut that in half. I said, I only want you to open a savings account. I don't want you to do the checking or the direct deposit. I want you to take $200 each payday and put it in there. And then I said, well, when you go to work, what stores do you pass? And she told me. And I said, and I picked out a couple. I said, I want you to go in there and tell, because one of the reasons she said she couldn't get a job is because she's working retail and her schedule is screwy. And I said, I get that. I said, but the jobs I want you to go get is not a career. I want you to go into a restaurant, look to be a waitress, or go into a candy store and work behind the counter. But when you get the interview, just tell them to say, I need you to be flexible for my full-time job on the schedule. They're working a week out, and I can give you a week notice on what my schedule's going to be. Can you do that? I said, there's so many people looking for help right now. If the first one you went into doesn't agree, I'll be surprised. And it just so happened that we were sitting in an IHOP, and the waitress comes over, and you can tell she's not a waitress. She's an office person. And as she walked up before she spoke, I said, are you an office person? She said, yeah. I said, are you guys hiring right now? She said, always. And I turned to Betty and I said, see, any place you go into is going to be willing to work with you to some degree. Now, you can't make it impossible. So I told her, so we made a list. I gave her fewer things to do. I told her what to write down in writing for her boss at her job to get every other Sunday off. So Betty's back in. In my mind, she was out. I mean, I'm not going to waste my time. Who's going to give me second, third, and fourth efforts? I told her, I said, listen, I told you the first time we met, I want you to live like a college student. Well, she couldn't relate to that. I said, you've been on the streets for 5 years, right? She said, yeah. I said, so you know what it is to live on the street? She said, yeah. I said, I want you to live like that for the next 3 years. I said, it's okay to live in your house because and here's what brought that conversation on. Her finances are all done on a little app on her phone. She doesn't have any banking relationship. And I said, so what happened to the $200 that was in your savings account last time? And she said, well, the same thing it always does. It usually goes to Ubers. And I said, well, how many Ubers do you take? And she told me. I said, this is why I want a savings account away from your phone. When you put that $200 in savings, it's in savings. So I don't want you to have access to it. I said, so from now on, when you go home or you come into work, you need to ask yourself a very important question when you look at your app. Do I want to take an Uber or do I want to have dinner? You made those kind of choices all the time when you were on the street. She said, yeah. I said, well, you've gotten comfortable. You don't have a car, so that's not comfortable. But you look at your app and you think, oh, good, I got $50 in there. I can get me another Uber ride. No. You take that money and you put it in savings and you be done with it. You pretend like it's not there. That's why I want that $200 every payday. And I said, for right now, keep the app. And then I want you to go to the credit union once every 2 weeks and take the $200 that's on your app, put it into your savings account. I said, now at some point we're going to go over your budget. We're going to make some cuts, and I'm going to make it uncomfortable for you. But at that point, we'll free up some Uber rides. But right now, no Uber. The weather's great outside, and if it's raining, take an umbrella. I want you to live and think like you're on the streets again. And she said, okay. I said, so the first thing I want you to do is make arrangements so that we meet in 2 weeks. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to hear I can't get off. I don't want to hear I have to work. You make that happen. So, we'll see. For right now, Betty is back in town. Now, I told her I feel like we wasted 2 months. She doesn't have any more money in the bank than she did 2 months ago. She is no further ahead now than she was then. And that's got to change. And it's got to change from her end. I keep talking, she keeps agreeing, but nothing gets done. So it's crunch time. And I want to see some performance. So we'll see. Who knows? I hope she surprises the heck out of me. I hope she comes through shining like a star. Because I'm telling you, there is a lot of potential there. And she's not interested in, real estate or big money or anything. She wants to travel. And we can get there pretty darn quick if we can just get the groundwork done. You guys have a great day, a great week, and happy investing.